Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. It's that time of year where a lot of people are planning their new homeschool year, or some people might never have even homeschooled before and are first deciding that they're going to venture into it. So today I decided that I'm going to share with you how to homeschool kindergarten to third grade. You know, I think that a really common mistake that new homeschoolers make is that they think that homeschooling has to look like school. And so what you're going to find today as I give you tips on homeschooling this age group is that it's not going to look a whole lot like a school classroom. And that is because, especially at this age, now I'm saying kindergarten to third grade because I know that a lot of people, especially newer homeschoolers, do go by grade level. I don't really do grade levels so much. So if you want to go by age, we can talk about 5 to 8 years old approximately. So in this age group, learning is still really happening mostly through play. And this isn't something that you're going to see really in the educational establishment. They still have, very often from kindergarten, although some kindergartens are more play-based, some schools do actually have kids start right at the beginning in kindergarten, that assembly line learning. And the fact is that kids are not all made from the same mold. They don't all learn differently, they don't all have to learn the same way, and they don't all have to learn at the same pace. So when I tell you how to homeschool this age group today, I want you to keep in mind that these are tips, and these are just things that you can use with your kids, but you really should decide what works best with your own child. So with that being said, I'm going to just give you a few pointers in how to get started. First of all, just stick to the 3 R's. You don't need to bring in all sorts of subjects for this age group right away. You know, they don't need to be doing textbooks on science and history and social studies and health and music and, you know, everything under the sun. 3 R's. And if you don't know what that is reading, writing, and arithmetic. Because at this age, that is what is the most necessary for them to learn in order for them to be able to excel in other areas. This is what I call foundational learning. Without the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, it does make other learning a little bit more difficult in the later years. Now, with that being said, does this mean that all of the other subject areas are going to be ignored if you're just sticking to the 3 R's? No. Not at all. It's just that when I say to stick to the 3 R's, this is the area that you should really focus on structured learning with your kids. Now, I also want to point out that you really have to follow your kids' cues when it comes to this, because some 5-year-olds might be developmentally ready to learn how to read, while others might not be. Some kids may not learn how to read until they're 6 or 7 or even 8 years old. So I want you to keep in mind that if you start trying to teach your kids to read and it's just not sticking, if they're crying a lot, give them some time, give them some space. I've gone through this with some of my own kids. I actually just backed off and stopped teaching reading for a couple months. One of my sons actually taught himself to read at that point when he was 6. And another son that I actually had to back off for quite a while because it really stressed him out. But by the time that he was about 8 years old, I got him Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. Within 3 months, he was on grade level, reading chapter books. So learning to read isn't something that has to take years and years and years. When a child is ready, they will learn, and it doesn't have to take forever like most people think that it does. So I really want you to keep that in mind. So yes, reading, writing, and arithmetic. So the next tip that I have for you is that you can spice things up with unit studies at this age. If you don't know what a unit study is, it is a lesson on a specific topic or maybe on a specific book in which kids will do different activities that have to do with the corresponding topic. And the activities that they do will actually be cross-curricular, meaning that they will cover all of the required subject areas through the activities that they are doing. For example, if they are learning about pirates, they, of course, will be learning history. They could be learning also social studies, geography, if they study where the pirates came from. They could be covering science by learning about scurvy. They could be even covering life skills by learning how to tie knots or how to maybe make the food that pirates ate during that time. So if your kids start asking you to do a little bit more than just the 3 R's, unit studies are a fantastic idea for this age, because even if you have kids at different levels, you can still do a unit study with the entire group. Unit studies are not based on grade levels. They are multi-level, and they are meant to be used with kids of different ages. So if you have a few kids in this age group, unit studies are a perfect way for them to do a lot of fun activities together, maybe to get some more of those subjects covered, and you can keep those 3 R's to each child's level then. They might do those individually, but all the other subjects can be covered with unit studies. So another tip that I have for you is just to maintain a learning-rich environment in your home. Kids at this age, they're natural explorers. And as I mentioned earlier, they do learn best through play yet at this point. Let them explore. Let them find out about the world just by going and doing. That's what I say, going and doing. Let them follow their interests. Now, some things that you might want to keep around your house are books. Of course, lots and lots of books. But I have to point out that books are not the only way to learn. Keep in your house maybe Play-Doh, Lincoln Logs, arts and crafts supplies, kinetic sand, Legos, puzzles, anything that you think will grab your child's interest. Stock up on them and keep them around the house, because what you have to realize is that learning does not only look like what a child is getting done at a desk. When your child is playing with kinetic sand, they're learning. When they are building a Lincoln log cabin, they are learning. When they are putting a puzzle together, they are learning. It is so important that you start looking at everything that your child does and realizing that they are making sense of the world in the things that they are doing. It is all learning when it comes to your kids. So another tip that I have is just spend lots of time reading. Whether you're reading to your kids or whether they are already reading, maybe taking turns reading one page and they read another page with you. It is amazing how many additional subjects can be covered just by reading to your kids. Now, another tip that I have for you is just to include your child in your day-to-day responsibilities. Those tasks that we parents tend to look at as being mundane and, we really don't always feel like doing them all the time. To kids, they're really exciting because it's not something that they're used to doing. So yes, have them help you bake. Have them help you cook. Give them chores that they are developmentally able to do. Take them grocery shopping with you. Let them weigh the fruit that you're getting and explain to them how the price is calculated by the weight. Take them to the bank with you. All of these things that we look at as just being errands that we have to run, kids are going to think that this is the best thing ever, and what better way to introduce your kids to the world than actually having them live in it with you. All right, and so another tip that I have for you is just don't rule out visual media. I know that there are a lot of people who are just absolutely no TV at all, and I agree. You can definitely have too much TV. You can definitely have too many screens, but don't write them off completely. There are a lot of great documentaries out there. There are a lot of great educational programs for kids. My kids love watching Magic School Bus. I love watching Magic School Bus. I've been known to turn it on when my kids aren't even around. Octonauts is another great one. But if you just go through your programs, and we don't even have cable. We have Netflix, and sometimes I'll look through PBS Kids or even YouTube videos for kids. Just, again, don't write it off. If your kids are interested in a certain animal, Coyote Peterson, Brave Wilderness, he has fantastic videos about animals. So just keep that in mind. And again, I'm going to point it out again. All things in moderation. So just remember that homeschooling your child at this age isn't about forcing them to sit at a desk for 6 hours a day. It's about giving them the tools that they need to go out there and to find out about the things that they're interested in. It's about instilling in your kids a love of learning so that they want to learn, so that they don't think of it as a chore and that they just think of it as another really fun thing to do with their day. So now just to close, I'm just going to give you an example of what a homeschool day might look like for kindergarten to 3rd grade. All right, I just want to point out to you as I am showing this is don't look at this as something that you absolutely have to follow 100%. I am just giving you an idea of what your child's homeschool day could look like at this point and approximately how long things will take. So if you look at the structured time, you could do about 10 minutes of read aloud time. You could spend about 10 to 30 minutes on the 3 R's depending on your child's age. You might want to spend about 15 to 45 minutes on unit study activities if your kids show an interest in that. And then after that, there is unstructured time. And again, this is the time that your kids are really learning how to make sense of the world. And in this unstructured time, they can be playing, drawing, crafting. They can just be playing outside of the house, helping out around the house. And as I mentioned earlier, they could be watching something fun yet educational, like I mentioned, Magic School Bus. And remember that this unstructured time is exactly that, unstructured. You don't have to schedule these things into your child's day, unless, of course, if they fit in with what you're learning about or if they go with the unit study. But typically, kids at this age are going to do these things on their own. And just because it isn't being done at a desk, just because it doesn't look like something that your neighbor down the street is doing in school does not mean that it is not educational. Remember that children this age are still in their formative years. The most important thing you can do for them right now is to give them the gift of learning to love learning. If you manage to accomplish that, the rest is a piece of cake. Anyway, that's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one down below, or not, because YouTube still has not turned my comments back on. In that case, if you would like to talk to me or leave a comment, you can head on over to my Instagram page. And if you like my work, you can check out my Patreon page and see what rewards I have for my patrons there. That is another link that I will leave in the description box. And I hope you have a great day.